5 years ago, Thanos erased half of the population of the universe. But the people of this planet brought everyone back with a snap of a finger. The sudden return of the population provided the necessary energy for the emergence to begin.
Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, All About Alex. And if you're new here, welcome. This channel normally focuses on lifestyle things like cooking, cleaning, organizing, decorating, things like that. But I also try to add in a little bit with my family. So here's two of my sons. This is DeShan, and this is Anthony. And I call them son number 2, son number 3. I have 4 sons total. And today we're going to do a movie review of the movie Eternals. It's a Disney movie, a Marvel movie, and we were really looking forward to it. So we went to see it yesterday, and we just wanted to kind of give you guys our thoughts on it. So we'll start with our overall thoughts, and then we'll talk about the things that we liked and didn't like, and then we'll probably give it like a rating if we can, and then we'll talk about what we think this means for the MCU going forward. So with that being said, we'll start with Anthony. What were your overall thoughts of the movie Eternals?
I thought it was pretty good overall. It was kind of a little more expansive than I feel like a lot of MCU movies, partially because it like covers a lot of time, but then also they like travel around the world, and it's just kind of filmed and written in a way that's trying to be like a lot of epic movies.
Yeah.
Generally liked it.
Okay. And DeShan?
I thought it was okay. It's kind of messy, so it's hard to like it a lot. But there's things about it that I liked. It's just like I think it's bogged down by a lot of things too.
And me, I liked it, but I'm coming from, I always say this, from a person with no background in Marvel, superheroes, comic books. So just coming from a mere movie point of view, I liked it. I thought some of the characters we could have learned a little bit more about them or spent a little bit more time with them, but other than that, overall, I thought it was a very beautiful movie. The special effects were done well, and I really liked the story. So overall, I really liked the movie. So what would you say some things you liked and didn't like about the movie?
I liked a lot of the action scenes. Oh, they were nice. I mean, the way it was like filmed and shot, especially I think there's just a couple scenes where I'm like, oh, that's pretty new for an MCU movie. Especially there's a person with super speed in the movie, and like we saw it with like Quicksilver, but then it's like a lot of different effects.
Yeah.
With in this movie,
I really liked that with her.
I liked just in general the way the movie looked.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could tell that it was shot very well and like had a good color palette. And then probably more of a mixed aspect. It's the characters, because I liked them, but then to get to more of a negative, I didn't feel like they had a lot of impact almost. Like I felt like, there was a lot of characters of the movie.
Yeah.
So it feels like, if a character dies, I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
Or if a character, when the character has like personal victories, I'm like, yeah. Except for Cersei and Icarus, who are the 2 characters I feel like we get to know the most.
Yeah.
And I felt like their story had the most weight to it.
Yeah.
But then there's like another story with Athena,
Yeah.
which like at the end I was like, okay, well, that's resolved.
Yeah.
And it didn't really impact me very much.
And what about you? Your likes and dislikes?
Well, I think the general likes would be, there was some stuff in it that I thought was kind of neat. Specific characters in it. I mean, the Kingo, the Indian guy, was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I liked his sidekick that he had.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of interesting ideas in it, and it's visually done pretty well. The director is pretty experienced with that sort of thing. Some movies have like jarring special effects in them. I didn't see any of that. They clearly put a lot of work into the movie.
Yeah.
And that's visible in the film.
Mm-hmm.
I think the main problem I have, I think some of the execution could have been better. I think the movies, the pacing is really weird. Some of the stuff could have been moved around a bit, especially because there's a lot of flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of the ideas aren't really fleshed out. Like they introduce a lot of ideas, but they don't really explain them or get really into them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions that the movie asks, and a lot of stuff like that, like stuff about the Eternal, because Sprite, it's like she asks a valid question about why she's the way she is, and there's no answer for that given in the movie. So it's a good question because there's no reason in the movie for her to be that way, as far as I could tell. And the Eternals are just very strange people. I think their existence raises more questions than it answers. Like the Celestials, what they explain at the beginning of the movie is that they just make all the planets in the universe. I don't know why they choose to do that. I guess they just decided it was a good thing to do. I guess the only reason to create
what it seems
life
to
is
me
to
is
make
like,
more Celestials.
You know, like one every like 100 or 1,000 planets is destroyed, but then like it's basically like a process. If it didn't happen, like the whole universe would end, and I guess that the Celestials couldn't. Well, maybe not the original, who's like the main Celestial, because he was supposedly there before. But it seems like the other ones.
Right? Why would the other ones not
Because
be
they
okay?
aren't as powerful. It seems like.
I don't think the movie doesn't imply that all the Celestials would die if the universe ended.
I mean, it implies it'd be bad for them.
Well, it's bad just because
I figured
it'd
mean that.
Because the only argument they give the Eternals for not stopping it is that that Celestial's going to create new life. And if you stop them, then those ones don't get to exist.
Yeah, well, they also say like the whole universe would eventually.
If you can't make more Celestials. But it's not. I don't know. I don't know why the Celestials are that invested in why, especially Aerisham.
They don't explain why that's
maybe he's lonely.
a necessity or whatever. But my likes were visual. The movie was very beautiful. Just the colors and the scenery. I really, really liked it. And I really liked all of the characters. I agree with the boys when they said that some of the it's so many of them, it's 10 of them, and that's not counting the outside characters like Cersei's boyfriend or the valet that belongs to the Indian guy, Kingo, and then just all of the extras. So there's a lot of people to just introduce all at once, and you're trying to get to know who they are, why they do what they do, and they try to give you a little bit of that, but you really, like he said, you really only come away with really feeling like you know 2 or 3 of them. And I'm hoping that maybe in the future, in future movies, they'll take the time to kind of go back and show us more about the other characters that didn't really get a lot of attention. Another thing I liked was the action scenes. I feel like there weren't enough action scenes, but I understand that this is a origin story. So a lot of times in origin story movies, you don't get a whole lot of action. You get more of the backstory of the character. But the action scenes that we did get were very, very exciting. I jumped a couple times and I really liked it. And then the things I didn't like about it, I've already said, like, I felt like we didn't get to know enough of the characters, but the movie, it was a long movie and we still didn't get everything we needed out of that movie as far as like really caring about each character. Like I liked all of the characters, but I just feel like I don't know who they are, most of them, or what they do, or why they do what they do, or whatever, or why they were there. So it was just a little bit confusing, but
yeah, I felt like it was a movie that could have been like a 4 or 6 episode.
Yeah, you said that.
Mini-series on like Disney Plus. I felt like that would have been, because I didn't think, just a little more scenes for all the characters would have been nice.
Yeah.
But then for a movie, you end up being like 4 hours long, and obviously they can't release that.
And they were already almost 3.
240 something.
Yeah.
I think.
I remember you saying that. I feel like I agree that it probably would have worked better as a series on Disney Plus. Disney Plus is doing very well with the series, and I feel like it would have helped us to get to know the characters better. We would have had more time over wherever 6 or 8 or 10 episodes to get to know these characters and really become invested in them. Because I feel like that's what happened with WandaVision is, those were 2 of my least favorite characters really in the movies. I had no idea what all Wanda could do. She always seemed like an odd character, and then Vision always really didn't want to use his powers a lot, so he was kind of I don't know. I just really didn't really know them or cared about them. And then we had the show. Like, you really get to know who they are and why they do what they do, and really know what Wanda can really do. And that was I know for these guys, they already knew that by the comic books, but for me, it was very surprising. Same thing with Loki, even though Loki was my favorite villain, just getting his own show and getting to know more about him really helped me to care more about him, care about his story, understand why he does what he does. He's not just a villain. There's a reason. And so I feel like I agree with Anthony that probably would have been a better route for the Eternals to come out. But, you know, they know better than we do, I guess. Okay, so now we're talking about what do we think moving forward? How do we think this will affect, or do we think this will affect the MCU in any kind of way?
I mean, I guess, so Cersei, who's like the main character of the movie, in the comic book, she's her, and then her boyfriend in the movie, who in the comic books is a character called Black Knight. Both of them eventually become Avengers. I don't know if that's where they're aiming with these characters, but potentially. I mean, you know, at the end we see Black Knight and he's about to like pick up the sword, and we hear someone call out to him, and you know.
And who do you think that someone is?
Well, the director has confirmed who it is.
The director.
Yeah, the director confirmed that it's Blade.
Okay.
So I'm, you know, in the comic books, there's a team of like British superheroes called MI13 that I believe they're both on. At least Blade's on it, and so that could be something they're setting up. Or there's a Halloween special that they announce either next year or the year after, probably. That could have that. I'm thinking it's probably gonna have Blade in it. I mean, it's a Halloween special. And it'd be weird if he wasn't in there. And then one of the other people in the movie who's an Avenger in the comic books is Star Fox, who shows up in the after credit scene. Thanos' brother.
Eros.
Yeah, so he could end up being on the Avengers, or you know, he's also known for having a bunch of space adventures. So,
does anything happen with Thena and Druig and Makari? Does anything happen with them in the comic books, or can you see where they might be going with them?
I mean, all I know, I don't really know much about Makari or Druig, who's a character I didn't even know about until this movie, or Thena from the comic books. I know in the comic books there was another Eternal who was the leader of the group called Zorus, who was like their version of Zeus.
Okay.
And then after he ended up, I don't know, maybe he died, I'm not sure. But I know Thena ends up being the leader of the Eternals in the comic books. Like, I think she's the current like leader of the group that's on Olympia, which isn't a thing in the movie.
Okay.
So the only other thing is, so Icarus flies into the sun. I mean, I've seen a lot of people asking, like, is he actually dead? I could see him potentially coming back if they do more Eternals
I didn't
things,
think
but
he was dead.
I'm not sure. I feel like,
Because if he's like Superman, that wouldn't kill him, right?
I wouldn't kill Superman because the sun just makes him stronger.
Right.
But I mean, he doesn't. I don't think he's powered by the sun. Icarus.
No, but I'm just saying, like, he's super powerful, so I don't think it probably wouldn't have killed him.
yeah, a lot of the characters are not super familiar to me from the comic books. I know Cersei and Black Knight and Icarus a little bit. Icarus is very different than how he is in the comics, though. But like Cersei and Black Knight do a lot of stuff away from like the Eternals, which is where I know them from.
Okay.
From like doing stuff with the Avengers.
Okay.
So the other Eternals, I'm like, I've heard about things about them, so I don't know. It's hard for me to say exactly where they're going, especially since we don't know if they're doing an Eternals 2. The movie says the Eternals will return at the end.
Yeah.
So they'll be in something, but.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think this means for the broader MCU?
Pretty sure as far as the Eternals are concerned, it's set up for Thor 4 and Guardians 3.
Okay.
I think.
Why? How do you?
Well, I'm thinking, especially the introduction of Star Fox. Pretty sure they're setting him up because I think he's going to be in the Guardians 3. But I think they're going to follow up on whatever he's doing. They're also introducing a guy in Guardians 3 called Adam Warlock,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're either gonna do some kind of Infinity Watch or the Annihilation storyline, which is basically like a guy from another dimension tries to take over the whole universe, and all the space people team up to stop him.
Okay.
Or something like that. I mean, they introduce him as Thanos' brother, so they're probably going to do something with that. I mean, he might know Gamora because he's related to Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he'll
Yeah.
find her or something in the Guardians movie, or Gamora will know him, or maybe she's looking for him or something.
Yeah.
Because she's from the past and she doesn't know anything. And with them other ones getting kidnapped by yeah, I don't know when we're gonna see them again. It could be a while. Who knows? As far as the Blade and Black Knight thing go, I don't know why they go in that direction with him, but I'm assuming eventually Black Knight's gonna end up on the Avengers.
Okay.
I mean, so far nobody knows when the next Avengers movie.
Phase 5.
I barely know anything about Phase 5. It'll probably be an Avengers movie then. Nobody knows who's going to be on it.
Yeah.
Because the team's just kind of a mess.
The reason why I brought up MI13 is just this. After Endgame, we only lost a couple of people.
And so we lost Black Widow, Captain America, Iron Man, and Vision.
So I'm like, I don't know if they're going to add... Well, I don't know who's going to be on the Avengers and Avengers 5. So it might be that they want to do a different superhero team so that they don't have to put everybody on the Avengers.
That's why they should just make more than one Avengers team. That's what I think.
They probably will. I'm thinking that eventually we'll have an Avengers, maybe like the MI13 European kind of Avengers, and then we'll have like a more American kind of Avengers. We'll have an outer space kind of Avengers. So I think that's probably what this is setting up, for all those different things to be happening all at the same time, and you can have all of these different groups doing their own thing, but also at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to wait for this phase to be over to just go to this phase. Like, you can bring out a movie where it just focuses on outer space, and then a movie where it just focuses on things that's going on in America or whatever, or globally with they can work together and stuff like that. So I think that's probably where they're going, just for my innocent little mind that doesn't know anything about anything.
Yeah, that's something that happens in the comics. But for me, for the movies, it's like, how many Avengers movies are we going to get? They could do more movies of the Avengers, but does it make the Avengers movies less special?
Well, I think they'll do it like they did this time, where it'll build up. It'll build up and build up and build up, and then you'll get one. It's not like, I don't think they're going to do it like a lot.
Well, so I'm just saying, like, if you're only doing like a movie about each team every time, it'll be a while before you get to like the next team. It'll be like, oh, we haven't seen that team in like 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but Avengers 1 and 2 are only 3 years apart.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying there's ways you could do it, but
yeah.
Because I think the main team is the only one that actually needs their own film. Like the one that's
I think the reason, but this is just my thinking, is that the reason why they would probably want to have more than one team is because you don't want to have one group of actors have to be in everything. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like with them bringing in so many, we'd be introduced to so many different people. If they had different teams, then it wouldn't be so much work for just one group of actors, because these groups of actors can go off and do other things that they want to do while the other team is doing movies and and then you come back to this group. So I just feel like maybe I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I have no idea, but I know that they're introducing so many new characters. It feels like a lot to me already, and we've just 1 year in. So I mean, we haven't even got to the 2 biggest movies yet. So I feel like we've already gotten quite a few new characters. We got Monica Rambeau, we got White Vision, we got Agatha Harkness, we got now Blade is sort of introduced. We got Yelena, Black Widow's sister. We got U.S. agent and a little boy, Isaiah Bradley's
Elijah Bradley's
grandson. He's supposedly going to be a superhero.
Which is the new Avengers, which is the young Avengers.
Yeah, we getting ready to get Hawkeye and the girl that's with him. We got Shang-Chi. So we got a lot already. Loki and the other Loki. So there's already a whole lot of new people. So they're going to have more than one team.
Well, not all of those people are going to be on the Avengers, I don't think.
But they'll all work with, you know what I mean? Like they'll all work with the Avengers in some way or another. So that it's just gonna be too much. And now we got the Eternals and we'll, pretty soon, you know, Spider-Man will have whatever comes out of that, and Doctor Strange, and you know, and then it's gonna be a lot. So it's gonna, to me, it only makes sense that they're building up to where, you know, and you guys have told me about all these different kinds of Avengers groups that have gone on throughout the years, and they'll be in this team and then they'll be over here in this team and stuff. So I feel like maybe that's where they're going eventually.
I think they should do that anyway.
Yeah, just so it'll just spread it out a little bit more, and you can pick up and do a movie about one character, and then everybody else is doing something else, or then you pick, maybe do 4 of them together, and then maybe do, you know, and then it just builds up and builds up and builds up, kind of like Phase 1 did, until you got all of them together for one big huge event. But that doesn't happen all the time. So I'm excited about Blade, Mahershala Ali. You said that the director came out and said that definitely was his voice at the end of the movie, so I'm so excited about that. I don't know anything about Thanos' brother and the little troll that was with him. What do you guys think about that? Are you excited about that? That popped up, or?
Probably the thing that I was most excited about, honestly.
Really? Was him coming?
I like the space stuff in Marvel the most. So more of that is always what I'm always open for more space stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I also don't know that much about Eros and the Troll.
Yeah.
The characters, I've read a couple of comics with Star Fox, the superhero name for him. I just don't know much about him. In the modern days, he's kind of a joke character. Might have even been a joke character back in the day. But he's, you know, it's kind of funny because he's like Thanos' brother, and his main power is that like people like him. And that's pretty much it.
Well, he makes people like him by talking to them, right? If he talks to you long enough, you just start liking them, and you get.
I think it's just
you get obsessed with them.
It's like a psychic thing he does to people, and it's when he talks to you, you just kind of you like him.
Or just being around him, or he has to talk to you.
It's like a manifest, because you know Druid has psychic powers.
Yeah, he can control people's minds.
Yeah, but his work differently. Because what it does is it feels good to be around him.
Oh, so it's
like
like
that
a
part of
drug.
your brain that goes off. So he just uses that to influence you, basically.
Kind of like what on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., what Hive did to all the other Inhumans. They were addicted to him. Yeah, so I mean that could be interesting. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. They had to grow on me.
Yeah, I'm just excited about Blade and Black Knight because I was talking a while ago about a character called Union Jack, who's like a British superhero, and a character called Spitfire. They're both like 2 British superheroes, and I was like, I hope they get introduced somewhere, and so maybe this is a way. Spitfire is also, she's a British superhero who also happens to be a vampire, so I feel like, you know, perfect fit.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see what they're gonna do with Blade. I loved the first iteration of Blade, you know, Wesley Snipes. So I'm just excited to see what they're gonna do this time. Go ahead.
Well, they're doing a Halloween special next year about a Marvel character called Werewolf by Night. So he might be in that.
Okay.
That Moon Knight showed up in the comic book too. So
okay.
Oscar Isaac's playing Moon Knight. He might be in
I was
that.
like, we might see Blade and Moon Knight.
Yeah.
No way to know yet. Or Moon Knight or Doctor Strange, because Blade has a connection to both of them.
Okay.
And then, well, at least they're both connected
both
to
have movies
supernatural
coming
stuff.
Yeah.
Moon Knight's gonna be a show next
Okay.
year, and then Doctor Strange also coming out next year.
Movie.
Okay, so do you think that Blade will show up in his own movie first, or he'll show up in, we've already heard his voice.
Yeah.
So do you think that we'll see like a small cameo of him first in somebody else's movie or show?
He was cast, so like his movie's not coming out until Phase 5.
Oh,
And
okay,
they're-
okay, okay.
And he was cast
So
last
long
year,
ago, yeah.
and it's like, he has to be in something soon.
I think he's going to be in the Moon Knight show.
I can see
the
him
show, really?
Yeah.
You think they'll bring something big like that out on the Disney Plus show?
Because I think the only reason I can think of why he would be showing up at the Black Knight's house is he's collecting supernatural people for some reason.
Okay.
And Moon Knight's supernatural. He's powered
And that's
by
why he
Egyptian
said,
gods.
do you really think you're ready for that when he get ready to pick up the sword?
Yeah, I think he's either after supernatural artifacts or people or something. Yeah, maybe there's something coming and he knows about it. So that's what I think's going on.
Yeah, I could see him either being in Moon Knight. Well, the Halloween specials, I mean, it's not a show, but it's also still a Disney Plus thing. I'm saying that I'm 95% sure he's going to be at that at this point, because I feel like it'd be weird. I know, so far the only thing we know is that it's going to be this werewolf character called Werewolf by Night. But I was like, it'd be weird if they did a whole Halloween special and Blade wasn't in it at all, even though they cast him like last year. So I feel like either Moon Knight or the Halloween special. He could possibly be in Doctor Strange, but there's already a lot in Doctor Strange. But you know, Marvel always likes to they reveal a lot, but then there's also a lot that they haven't shown. So I wonder if he'll like either be in like an after credits thing, because so basically there's a team called the Midnight Suns, which is a team Doctor Strange forms of supernatural people like Ghost Rider, Moon Knight's on the team, Morbius, who's getting a movie by Sony, not necessarily, maybe not in the MCU. It's, you know, you watch the trailer and it's like, But you know, there's a lot of other supernatural people, and Blade's one of the members of that team. And so I'm wondering if maybe Doctor Strange will like start forming a team of supernatural people after the movie for some reason, which could explain why they do one. Maybe Doctor Strange will be in the Halloween special too.
Could be. Well, maybe they just want one of each kind of monster. You know, Scarlet Witch is a witch. Blade's a vampire.
Werewolf.
The werewolf. I don't know, is there a ghost in the MCU?
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider, that's true.
Not really a ghost, but
he's like a demon or something.
Yeah. Well, any final thoughts about the movie Eternals?
I mean, it's very different. I saw somebody yesterday said that it feels more like a DC movie than a Marvel one. I think I might agree with that after thinking about it. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's an interesting observation. They took a different approach to it. I don't think it fully worked, but it feels like there was an honest effort put behind it.
You don't feel like it failed as a movie?
Right. There's enough stuff in there where you can tell somebody behind the scenes actually was trying to make something that was good.
Yeah.
And some of it works. A lot of it doesn't. But yeah, I can at least appreciate that, you know, because I feel like a lot of movies, they don't work because either it's too messy or like oh, this person wasn't really trying to make the best movie that they could, or the studio got too involved or something like that. But that's what I'd say, you know. Not really one of my favorite Marvel movies, but I can appreciate a lot of the stuff that was done in it that genuinely had a lot of goodness to it. Like I liked Icarus in it. Like he made a pretty compelling character. There's a couple other characters in there I thought were interesting. And visually, it's probably the best Marvel movie so far. Maybe I think the only ones that
is pretty good.
There's only one.
Guardians
there
of
was
the Galaxy
one
might
scene
beat it for me a little bit.
where it was, for me as a movie person, there's a scene where the Celestials rising out and you see like an island basically like crumble into like dust and fall into the water. I'm like, man, that scene would have taken so long to do, because I'm just looking at it from a movie perspective.
Because Anthony has a film degree.
Just like all the water plus all the like sand and then all the way everything's moving. I'm like, man, that's the scene where like regular people probably just skipping past it. But I'm like, that scene is probably one of the ones.
You have to point that out to me because I probably missed it.
That scene's probably one of the ones that they like. You think the CGI monster took the long part, but it's this scene of like sand falling into water.
Right. Well, my overall thoughts was I thought it was a good movie. I thought all the actors did very well with their parts. I just love that the bigger stars didn't act like I'm a big star. You know what I mean? Like Kit Harington, Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek, and even the Indian guy. He's a well-known actor too.
Camille.
I can't remember his name. He played Kingo in the movie. But they truly were an ensemble, and that's what I liked about the movie. Like, you couldn't see anybody, you know, trying to be like the star of the movie or whatever. And I thought that was awesome. I think they all worked together very well as a team. I like the story. There's so many stories though, but the story with Thena and Gilgamesh, I love that story. And then also with Cersei and Dane Whitman. The other ones, Druid, you know, I thought it was cool. His power was very cool. I could see his point of view because his power was he could control minds, and he was like, why can't I just make them all be good? Why do I have to sit back and watch them kill each other and have wars and you know, do all this stuff? So I could understand his point. I thought it was cool that he could just literally make people do whatever he wanted them to do. And then one of my favorite action scenes is when Makari, which is the deaf girl, her superpower is super speed. She beats the crap out of Icarus, and I loved it. It was awesome. And you picked up on that a little bit when they show her movement is different than I've seen any kind of fast movement from any other superheroes. We've seen several superheroes who have super speed, but it was just different. It literally looked like she was moving at the speed of light.
They did a lot less slow motion,
Okay.
and a lot more just like having her just be fast.
Yeah, she was gone, and she was beating the mess out of her, and it was awesome.
Not just fast in a way where it's just like, oh, she just was on screen, now she's back and she did.
Yeah, you literally could see, you could still see her.
She's just moving,
but
like,
she was just like, it was so awesome.
Like,
because I know, like, sometimes
you'll
you'll see when they do the fast speed, you'll see somebody's hair move, and that's how you know they move fast. Yeah. Or you'll see them in slow motion, and that's how you know they're moving fast. But she was just moving fast, and it was awesome. Because at the end, I was kind of like, I don't like Icarus. He needs to get beat up. So it was awesome. Especially since you really didn't see that much of her through the whole movie, and then she beats the crap out of him, and everybody else, he was beating them. Nobody else could beat him. So.
I guess for me, yeah, I generally really liked it. I'd say I felt like it was about on par with Shang-Chi for me.
Okay.
And like for everything that's come out, I liked it. They're probably less than like WandaVision, probably less than Loki, and then Shang-Chi and this are probably right there in the middle, and then like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Black Widow are a little below.
Okay.
So I generally liked it. A couple things I thought were weird. So they're in hiding, but none of them changed their names. It's like, oh, this is the teacher Cersei. And I was like, is the teacher named Cersei? Or Sprite?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Well,
I can
you
get away
know,
with
you
that
can
was-
have weird names. Nowadays.
But I just thought it was weird. Like they don't even. It seemed
Well,
like
I
they didn't
mean,
even
it
have
can be a nickname though. You know how crazy people's nicknames be?
a kid named Sprite is more believable than like a teacher who's just named Cersei. Like she didn't even have a last name. It's like Madonna. And then there was a line at the end that with Festos was like, I was always wondering how we like lived throughout the emergence or whatever. I was like, you just learned about this 45 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
It just felt like the always in there was kind of weird.
Yeah.
So those are just two things that stuck out to me. But in general, I liked it. I felt like I needed more.
Yeah.
If this movie was like 3 hours long, probably could have squeezed all the stuff that I wanted in there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Another 20 minutes.
Maybe just have less characters in it.
Yeah.
Or just tease the other Eternals or something.
I mean, though,
But-
one of the
Instead of
Eternals
making
is
a
barely in the
really
movie.
long movie.
So
Which
Yeah.
one? Makari?
Ajax.
Oh, Ajax, yeah.
Makari shows up
Yeah.
at the very
I
end.
think
a lot of them show pretty
you
late.
needed each character to tell this story, but there was not enough time because you needed each ability. Yeah,
The characters that actually weren't needed in the story were Athena and Gilgamesh, who have their own kind of story, but they don't really feel super tied into the main story.
Yeah, because they went off.
They have their own thing that they're doing for most of the movie. So when everybody else is kind of focused on one thing,
And even when they come back together, they really aren't necessary. You know, I understand that. Yeah, Ajax, you needed her in the beginning because she held them together.
Yeah, Ajax was kind of. I mean, I know you don't like Watchmen, but she had a similar role to
Comedian?
the comedian. Because Ajax, we see, and then like the next scene we see her, she's dead.
Yeah.
But then she's still throughout the movie
Yeah,
in
they
like
remember
flashbacks
her,
and people remember
because they
her.
all had relationship with her.
Um,
Even though they didn't all have a relationship with each other, some of them really didn't like each other or get along,
Yeah.
but they all had a relationship with her. So she was needed. She was like the glue. Like you said, Athena and Gilgamesh probably could have been brought on a different movie brought into it, later.
I mean, I like things that have a lot of different plots. That's the reason why I felt like this needed.
Too much.
I felt like she didn't have connections to, like, they didn't really have connections to any of the other characters and stuff going on.
Because even when they were together, she was kind of always off fighting. She didn't want to just sit there a lot of times.
Yeah.
So I agree completely.
And I like them, but I just felt like I wish because I felt like that's the thing where I need like a couple more scenes to select. What's Thena's relationship with, like, we see her give like Cersei a pep talk, and it's like this is the first time she's talked to Cersei in the movie.
Yeah.
So we don't know what her relationship.
Could have done a better job on some of the costumes too, I think.
Which one you didn't like? The ones
actually,
they put on when they're their superhero selves?
I liked them more in the movie than I did when they were released.
I can't even remember what
They're a
most of them
little
look
brighter.
like.
I mean, they're all basically the same costume.
The only one I really remember is Theda's, because it looks a little different, but all the other ones.
Well, they're all basic. They all got that like circle, but like I think Cersei's is like a moon, and Icarus is like a sun, and then like Sprite's like a crescent moon with another.
I didn't even know it's just
I
like
didn't know they had
like
different
they got like
things.
little things on them.
Well, they all have like a circle. And
Okay.
I think they're different, but that might just be
like in the comic book. Icarus' costume's pretty distinct. I don't know.
I mean, they're mostly just they kind of got the Power Rangers thing. They all wear the same costume, but
It's just
different colors.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of junk on them. You don't know what's going on.
And their costumes really don't say anything about who they are, what they can do.
And I guess so going back into like the things, the deviants I felt like have a weird position in the movie where they're kind of important, but then like they aren't important.
Yeah.
The more is after as
The
soon as
deviants are
it's
like the
explained,
White Walkers.
as soon as it's explained what they are,
The White Walkers is like it's like Game of Thrones all over again. Like it's so built up. The deviants. That's the whole reason why they're there. And then it really doesn't even turn out to be
like for a second,
a big
for a
thing.
second the plot like outruns Crow and he has to run and catch up to it.
He's
like, oh wait,
it's kind of weird that he even was there.
Who outruns them?
Crow, the main deviant guy, like the plot like leaves him behind for a second.
Plot?
The plot of the
Well,
movie.
like she's saying, like the plot, they kind of forget about Crow.
And then he shows up. He's like, "Well, you forgot about me."
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true.
And then he gets beat by.
I mean, they beat them so fast, I forgot about them.
That's his thing.
But it's kind of like I said, it's kind of like the White Walkers. You think they're gonna be like the big, huge thing that's you gotta beat them, and then it's not. It's not them. They're not the problem. So, yeah. This is funny to think that just because Jon Snow and Robb Stark are in the Eternals, so it's just funny that has the same kind of thing. But so, score.
I give it I probably give that 6 out of 10.
Okay. I would give it a 7 out of 10.
I would give it. I don't want to go too specific, so I'll say 7.5.
7.5. Okay.
We're gonna say 7.75. That's probably getting a little too.
You can say 7.75 if you think it's 7.75.
I was deciding between it. I don't think it's quite an 8, but like
It's a little better.
7.5, 7.75, somewhere in there.
So that is our thoughts of the movie Eternals. But hey, you make up your own mind. We encourage you to go see it. It's a beautiful movie. The action scenes are awesome. And we hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps my channel to grow. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you as part of the All About Alex family. And we hope you have a very blessed and wonderful day. Bye.